break down the food into smaller particles, and after breaking down the food in smaller particles, then we swallow the food. It enters in the stomach. After it enters into the stomach, then the process of digestion would be carried out, so that the food is afterwards absorbed in our blood, in our circulatory system, and this absorption, it takes place in the intestines, the small and the large intestine, and in the end, the unwanted food, the undigested food, or the food which has not been absorbed in our body, it would be thrown out of the body, the process of excretion. So it starts from consumption of food, ingestion of food, chewing the food properly, swallowing it, digesting it. After digestion is completed, we absorb the food, and after absorption, the unwanted, undigested food will be thrown out of our body. So all you see here is the small intestine in the center, and around in the periphery, what you see this in yellow color is the large intestine. So after the stomach, it comes to the small intestine, and from the small intestine then into the large intestine, and in the end the last portion is called as the rectum, where actually the food is stored temporarily for short duration of time. The food would be stored there, the undigested food, and afterwards the unwanted food would be thrown out of the body through the anal canal or the opening of the rectum. So the parts of the digestive system, if we talk of again, is the mouth or the oral cavity, the esophagus or the food tube, the food pipe, the stomach, the small intestine, and the large intestine. All of them the parts of the digestive system. The liver, the largest gland in our body, which helps actually in processing various chemicals, it helps actually in processing various foods. So this is the liver, it lies on the right side of our body, and it is below the ribs. In a healthy individual, you can't feel your liver when you are just touching your abdomen. You can't feel the liver, it is below the ribs. So you can't actually touch your liver because it's below the ribs. And just below this liver, this green portion, what you see here is the gallbladder. Now the secretions of the liver, they are collected and stored temporarily in this gallbladder. The secretion of the liver, which is called as the bile, it has many digestive enzymes in that. So this bile, it is actually stored in the gallbladder, and whenever necessary, this digestive enzymes, they are released in the small intestine. So this function of gallbladder is only storage of the bile. So this is also part of the digestive system. And one more part of the digestive system is the pancreas. Yesterday on the therapy course I was talking about pancreas, so you can precisely see the pancreas here. It is behind the stomach, this portion, the triangular tip, this particular part which you see here, that's the part of the pancreas. It starts at this end, this complete portion here behind the stomach is the pancreas. Digestion of food, it starts right in our mouth. The food getting converted, especially the starchy material, the starches from our food getting converted to glucose, that all starts in the mouth itself. You can just work it out for yourselves. You go on chewing a piece of bread, go on chewing, nothing with that, just go on chewing a piece of bread. After some time, don't swallow it, go on chewing it for a long time. After you go on chewing the food for a long time, the taste of the food changes to sweet. That's because the process of digestion, it has already started. So it is very important that you chew your food properly. Whenever you are in a hurry, you just go on swallowing the food without chewing it properly, it would have an effect on the digestive process. So chewing of food is very important because the digestion, it will start in the mouth itself. Second important function of saliva is antibacterial. Our saliva, human saliva, is slightly antibacterial. Some microorganisms, they definitely enter with our food. Whatever precautions we take while cooking the food, any precautions you take, but still some microorganisms, they can enter with the food in our mouth. Now once the food is chewed, we swallow the food, and then the food would enter in the esophagus, and through the esophagus slowly it would go down into the stomach. Now in the esophagus, no function is carried out. No secretions, no digestions, no absorption, nothing. The only function carried out by the esophagus is to carry the food from the throat up to the stomach. That's it. No digestion of food, no secretion of any juices, or no absorption of food, nothing. Now, after the food enters in the stomach, the actual process of digestion starts. Various chemicals, various enzymes, they help in the digestion of food, and this process, it nearly takes 3 to 4 hours. The complete digestion of food after your complete meal, I would say, when you have complete meal, complete lunch or dinner, it would take around 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, depending on what kind of food you are consuming. If you are consuming more of carbohydrates, it would take less time, but if you are consuming more of proteins, more of fats, it would take more time. Now, for this process of digestion, as I said, there is need of various enzymes. And when there is need of secreting various enzymes, the blood circulation, the blood supply towards the stomach is increased, is improved immediately after food. So the blood flowing towards the stomach, the quantity of blood flowing towards the stomach would be increased for nearly 3 to 4 hours after the food. Because when the blood circulation is more, it helps in secretion, proper secretion of the digestive enzymes. Now, once the food is digested, this digested food, it's not a food actually, it's, you can say, a semi-solid or a paste-like substance, and this substance, it would then slowly flow down into the small intestines. This paste-like substance, it has the digestive juices in that, it has water in it, and at the same time, it has food in it, or the digested food in it. Semi-solid we can talk of. So this semi-solid, it would enter into the large intestine. Now, large intestine, the main function which is carried out in the large intestine is absorption of food. The food is actually absorbed in the, not the large intestine, the small intestine, the first part. So the food is absorbed in the small intestine. And when I say it is absorbed in the small intestine, it means that from the small intestine, the food enters in the blood, in the circulation. So when I say absorption, it is actually absorption of food in the blood. And as the food goes on traveling through the small intestine, ultimately it comes into the large intestine. By the time the food enters in the large intestine, maximum part of it has been absorbed in our blood. The remaining portion is undigested food, maybe some fibers or unused food, unused digestive enzymes, all of them. It's the remnant of the food, the remaining part of the food. It slowly starts accumulating in the large intestine. And once enough quantities of food, undigested food, non-utilized food has been accumulated into the large intestine, then the signal goes to the brain that the intestines, they are full of undigested food, and then the brain controls the process of evacuation to throw out the undigested food. Now, the length of the digestive system from top to bottom, from the mouth up to the rectum, it is around 30 feet. That's the length of the digestive system for the human being. 30 feet is the length, and usually all of this process, it takes nearly 16 hours. When I talk of eating the food, swallowing, digesting, absorbing, and removal of waste from our body, all these processes, they take nearly 16 hours, 16 to 18 hours. As the distance from our mouth up to the rectum is around 30 feet. And out of that, the length of our small intestine is nearly 23 feet. 22, 23 feet is the length of our small intestine. So whatever you see here, the coiled portion, all of it is nearly 23 feet long. So the food passes through all this in a time duration of 16 to 18 hours. Now, one clarification maybe which is related with both the questions. After the absorption, when I talk of absorption, from the small intestine, the food is absorbed. Now, it is not food actually. It is molecules of glucose, it is molecules of proteins, it is molecules of fats. The food has been converted into the basic molecules of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. To be very specific, carbohydrates converted to glucose, proteins converted to amino acids, and fats converted to fatty acids. So the form of the food has been changed, and these molecules then they are absorbed in the blood, and through the blood these molecules they would first enter through the blood. It's not through the digestive system, nothing to do with the digestive system, but once these food material or the food substances they are absorbed in the blood it first enters into the liver. Liver is a quality inspector. It would inspect all the food which comes through the blood. It would, when the liver is satisfied that the quality is good, then it would flow or it would be distributed throughout the body. If there are some toxic chemicals, if there is something which is unwanted by the body, or if there are certain things which can cause harm to the body, the liver processes those toxins, or you can say that the liver tries to detoxify the substances. Whatever chemicals, whatever molecules they have entered in the blood through the digestive system, the liver tries to destroy them if they are harmful to the body. So it is basically the function of the liver to control the quality of food which is going to flow in the body. The same thing you can talk of is about the chemical agents, the preservatives and other things what we are talking of, the coloring agents. Basically they would be processed in the liver. And if we are consuming too much of it, then obviously it is a burden, it is an overload for the liver. And the liver has to focus more on doing these things rather than carrying out other functions of the liver. So it is the liver which is the most vital organ, I would say, as far as controlling the quality of food is concerned. You must have heard of liver cirrhosis in alcoholics. What is that? If you consume too much of alcohol, it leads to cirrhosis of liver or damage to the liver. What is the reason? The reason is the same. When alcohol is consumed, it would enter into the stomach, the intestines, through that it would enter into the blood, and the first thing what would happen is it would go to liver. The liver would detect that this is alcohol, something which is harmful for the body, and then the liver would try to destroy the alcohol, detoxification. And when it is doing it repeatedly, overwork, we would say the liver, it would go into a failure, or the functions of the liver would be hampered. So the control of quality is the function of liver. Enzymes, they are all secreted in our body. Whatever food we consume, accordingly the enzymes are secreted, and there is no limited stock of it. Anytime you eat the food, the enzymes will be secreted. That is one part of it. Another part of it is genetically there are some people who lack some enzymes by birth. Say for example milk intolerance. There are many people who are having milk intolerance. That is because the enzymes which are needed for digestion of milk by birth itself they are in less quantity or they are absolutely absent. So that is you can say that the enzymes they are not produced in the body. But anything which you consume for the digestion of that particular substance, enzymes are always produced in our body.
Produced in small
Produced in the?
Which part produces enzymes?
All, the stomach and the small intestine. Both of them. Stomach and small intestine, all of them, they produce enzymes and even acid, which is needed for the digestion of food, that is produced by the stomach. So there is no limited stock of it as such, it can be produced continuously. The only problem which can come is with the aging process. With aging, the cells which are producing enzymes, maybe some of them they become non-functional or some of them they are dead, they are not replaced. So with aging process, the quantity of enzymes which is secreted by the body can become less. But it's not that there is a limited stock of enzymes. They can be generated, they can be produced throughout the life. Important cleansing techniques we'll be discussing which are related with the digestive system. The first cleansing technique is the practice of women, or in simple language it is practice of vomiting. Even the teachers training course students, they are going to do it for themselves. This is a cleansing technique which helps to clean the digestive system up to the level of stomach. So if once in a while if you want to clean the digestive system, now just imagine we have been consuming food for right from our birth, I would say at least 3 times a day, continuously we are eating food, and when we are eating food we are consuming certain chemicals, we are consuming preservatives, we are consuming coloring agents and many more things which are unnecessary for the body. Now, once in a while, it is necessary that you clean up the digestive system, because this is a system which is working 24 hours a day, and especially it is working with some external factors. External factors is the food. We are consuming something from the environment. So there is quite possible that along with this food, we are consuming certain substances which are harmful for the body, which are unnecessary for the body. So once in a while, if you want to clean the digestive system, one process which has been suggested is the practice of vaman or regurgitation. Regurgitation in simple words is vomiting. This process, it actually involves consuming 7 to 8 glasses of salted water. Just warm salted water, and you are supposed to consume 7 to 8 glasses of salted water. Once you have consumed that 7 to 8 glasses of salted water, immediately you have to vomit out that 7 to 8 glasses. This is to be done early morning. As soon as you get up, early morning you are going to do that. So consuming 7 to 8 glasses of salted water and immediately vomiting them out. The advantage is that the digestive system will be cleared up to this level. The stomach and the esophagus, it would be clean. The question would be, what you want to clean? The answer is, sometimes the chemicals, what you are talking of, the chemicals, the preservatives and other things, they may not be absorbed in the blood. They would remain in the stomach, they would remain in the intestines. They may not be absorbed. So these chemicals, the molecules of these chemicals, along with unused enzymes, along with unused acid from our stomach, with water, it would be thrown out. And it would help in actually opening the ducts or the tubes of the gland. The glands may be choked up, or the tubes, they might be having some particles which would not the gland may not be able to function properly. So this choking of the gland, it can be removed with the help of this regurgitation technique. So you are going to wash out the unwanted substances which may have been accumulated for years together in your stomach. So that is how you can clean the stomach completely, you can clean the esophagus completely. I repeat, cleansing techniques are not a part of daily yoga practice. They are to be done as and when needed. When you feel the need of practicing the cleansing technique, at that time it is needed. It is needed for cleaning the body. Whenever you feel there is a need to clean up the stomach, there is a need to clean the esophagus, you can practice it. It is not a compulsory practice that daily or weekly or fortnightly you have to do it. As and when required, the cleansing technique can be practiced. So there is no rule for that. Whether I can do it daily, the answer is yes. Whether I can do it weekly, the answer is yes. Can I do it monthly? The answer is yes. Depending on your own requirement, you can decide how frequently you have to practice the cleansing technique. For example, if a person is suffering from high acidity, hyperacidity, every now and then he has burning in the chest, burning in the stomach, he wants to get cleaned with this acid, I would say for 10 days or 15 days regularly, every day, the person can do it. No problems. But on the other hand, if you just want to keep yourselves healthy, you don't have any complaints, you just want to keep your body healthy, once in a month is enough, that's what I would say. So it's not a daily practice. Okay, why the salt in the water? Because it just changes the osmotic pressure of the water, and plain water would be absorbed very fast. But salted water, the rate of absorption of salted water is very slow. And here particularly we are not interested in absorption of water. We are interested in throwing out the water. And another thing is, because of the change in the osmotic pressure, the salt water, it can actually absorb certain amount of toxins from the blood flowing around the stomach. So that complete cleansing, complete cleaning of the digestive system with the practice of Shankha Prakshalan or master cleansing. Teachers training course, you are not going to do this in your course. It's not included in teachers training, but you need to have information of it. Therapy course students will be practicing for themselves this master cleansing. Now here in master cleansing, it's a technique which would take around 2 to 3 hours. It's not a very simple technique, it's a rigorous technique needing tremendous physical fitness. You can't just do it within 10-15 minutes, that's not the thing. You need at least 2 to 3 hours for the practice of master cleanse, and at the same time there are many diet restrictions to be followed after the technique has been completed. The suggestion to practice this technique is just once in 1 year. Now in this technique again it's salted water. Salted warm water, here you can add some lemon to that, no sugar obviously, just salt, water and lemon. You are supposed to consume 2 glasses of this salted water. After you consume 2 glasses of the salted water, there are certain specific yoga positions, or I would straight away say there are certain exercises, total 6 of them. They are to be practiced after consuming the water. So you consume 2 glasses of salted water, you practice the 6 yoga positions or the 6 exercises. After that, again you consume 2 glasses of salted water and the 6 positions. Go on doing it alternately. 2 glasses of water and the exercises. You continue this process in between. Whenever you feel like emptying the bowels, you are free to empty the bowels. Whenever you have the sensation of emptying the bowels, you can empty the bowels. But continue the process. 2 glasses of water and the 6 exercises. Go on continuing the same process till you have consumed at least 10 to 12 glasses of salted water. So alternately you are going on. 2 glasses of water, exercises, again 2 glasses, again exercises. Go on doing it alternately till you have consumed 10 to 12 glasses of water. And in between, whenever you feel like emptying the bowels, you can empty the bowels. Now the logic behind this, the explanation behind this, whenever you drink water and after drinking water, when you practice the 6 positions, you'll be learning those 6 positions. What are the 6 positions? Those 6 positions, they are all targeted to your abdomen, to your small and large intestine. And the effect of all those 6 positions is to increase the movements of the small and large intestines. So the movements of the small and large intestines, they become very fast. And you are drinking water. So whatever water you are consuming, whatever water you are drinking, it would enter into the intestines, and because of the fast movements of the intestines, you would flush out that water from your digestive system. So actually I would say you are flushing the water through your digestive system. And that is because you are practicing the 6 positions in between when you are drinking the water. So that water would be flushed out, and obviously when you are flushing out the water, all the unwanted waste, the debris, the dead cells, the enzymes, unwanted enzymes, unused enzymes, and whatever in the stomach, the small intestine and the large intestine, everything would be cleaned up, everything would be washed out. And when I say everything, it literally means everything, including mucus, including the good bacteria in our intestines. We are all aware that there are certain bacteria which are needed by our body. So those bacteria also would be washed out. And even the mucus, the sticky fluid in the intestines, which keeps the intestine moist, that also would be washed out. Because the speed of the water has been increased. The speed of contraction of the intestine has been increased. And as we are going to wash out the mucus, as we are going to wash out even the good bacteria from the intestines, then the diet restrictions are to be followed strictly immediately after the process has been completed. It would take nearly 2 to 3 hours. After that, there is a need of practicing Yoga Nidra for complete 1 hour. The main aim of practicing Yoga Nidra after this process is to slow down the contractions of the small intestine. You have been practicing the exercises, you have been practicing the yoga positions which have increased the movements of the intestine. Now after the process is completed, you need to slow down the movements of the small intestine. So rest is needed. Yoga Nidra would be needed after that. And one more important thing which would be needed after that is the lubrication of your digestive tract. Because as I have said, everything has been washed out. Even the mucus from the intestines has been washed out. The intestines, there is a chance that the intestines would become dry because no mucus in that. So the diet, immediately the first food after master cleanse, it needs to have loads of lubricant. And specifically in the by now you must have been aware of the cooked rice along with lentils, or the khichdi, what they call it here. That quantity dal plus rice mixed together, just boil it and have it. Now throughout the world this separated butter may not be possible, or rather it's not available throughout the world. So in that case I would say olive oil can be an alternative. Consumption of olive oil, 3/4 of the bowl what we have in the kitchen, at least that much quantity. Don't worry that you are consuming this much quantity of oil. That oil is not absorbed in the digestive system. It just acts as a lubricant for a few days, maybe a couple of days. By the couple of days, the mucus is being secreted in the digestive system, and this olive oil or the separated ghee, whatever you have consumed, it would be removed from the boil. So it is just a lubricant, nothing more than that. You are not going to digest, or you are not going to absorb that particular thing. But then after this process, ideally it has been mentioned that the diet restrictions are to be followed nearly for a month. Simple diet, that's what one word I would say, simple diet is to be taken after the process nearly for 1 month, because your digestive system has become very sensitive. So it's not a very simple thing that okay, you just listen to it and practice it. That's not possible. Yeah, definitely it's a rigorous technique, it's a demanding technique which is to be done under the guidance of a yoga expert. Don't do it of yourself there. Don't feel that there is no risk in that, just drinking water and practicing exercises. It's not that simple. So again I say it is not to be repeated very frequently, it's only once in a year or twice in a year. A smaller version of this technique can also be practiced, and that smaller version can be practiced daily. The smaller version, you stop with 4 glasses or 6 glasses of salted water. That's it. Just stop. No need of further drinking, no need of further practicing the positions. Just 2 glasses, the exercises, again 2 glass, exercise and stop. Maybe 6 glass, not more than that. And this technique can be practiced on a daily basis if needed. This smaller version we are talking of, that can be practiced on a daily basis, but not the complete master cleanse. It cannot be practiced on a daily basis. Practically not possible. The water should taste like your tears. In a liter of water, around 10 grams of table salt.
So it's free.
Around. So it's just there is no, you can say, perfect thing that okay, only this much quantity. It can be more or less. Sorry? Yeah, table salt is okay. If available sea salt and other things, they can be used, no problems. But the commonly available is table salt. So table salt is okay. The only reason why we add salt is to change the osmotic pressure. That's it. Nothing more than that.
Okay.